Lineup today, Coach. Any unexpected changes?
We're going to go 11-7. I haven't decided which guy I'm pulling out as a forwards, but I'm putting Harper back in. We need this is a big team, so we need some big bodies. But I don't think there's any defensemen that deserve to be taken out. So it's going to be a forward, and I think when you look at their forward depth, I mean, these guys are stacked. I think it would be good for us to have a spot there open for us to be able to put our top players back and create more of a third line rather than a fourth line.
When you do that, Guy, do you double shift a guy like Boucher?
Yes. Duchesne, Pajot, and some wingers, and I can put White center and wing, and yeah, so that's exactly what going to try to keep up with the quality of their lineup. I mean, they shellacked us last time we played them, and when you watch them play, I mean, this is a high-end team. This is a team that has a chance to win a cup, in my opinion. So they got tremendous depth. The goaltender's playing great, 920 something average. Yeah, they got big mobile defensemen. A lot of their offense will start from defense, but their forwards have a lot of drive. I find that, you know, their top six guys have drive, and that's what's impressive. It's skill and drive. It's not just you're either a skill guy or you're a drive guy. They got that in one player. I mean, not one, but almost all their top six guys are like that. And you look at their third line with Little, who was a second line guy the whole year. Now it's Stastny there. It's great depth. And really, their fourth line is hard driving too, and you know, it's a stacked team. And I like what they've done. They've been patient. They stuck with what they were doing for the last years, and they brought in the right guys, and they kept the right guys, and they kept the same direction, and they get their rewards from it. So I think it's a good story. And tonight we just got to make sure it's not a great story against us.
They have a good power play and one of the best on the power play. Patrick Laney is there.
Yeah.
Tactically, is there anything special that you guys have to do?
Make sure he doesn't touch the puck. This guy can score from anywhere. So whether you stop his one-timer or he steps in and gets a wrister, it doesn't matter. He always finds a way to get it on net. So I think in that respect, our goalie's expecting him to get some shots tonight. But the thing is you can't focus just on him, because the other guys are, you know, they got all their weapons too. So that's why it's top power play. It's just there's weapons from the top, there's weapons from the sides, there's guys that are paying a price in front of the net, there's big bodies. I mean, this is yeah. You look at the Wheelers and those guys and Scheifele's. It's Ehlers. I mean, it's coming from everywhere, and that's why they're that good.
You mentioned that I think it was end of November, early December. You went to Winnipeg and it was 5-0.
It could have been more than that.
Yeah.
That was a tough game. We didn't. Yeah, we traveled and we had some banged up guys, and we chose not to practice the day before. And I don't think it helped us that day. Some days it's good, some days it's not good, and that definitely wasn't. I think the next day they were home. They were jacked up, and they came out flying, and we had no response that day. So probably our worst game of the year. Not probably, it was our worst game of the year. So we're expecting them to be as good as they are right now. And yeah, you know, we obviously got some guys missing in the lineup, but I think we've been working real hard for a while now, and it's our opportunity, our last game at home, to put our best work ethic on the ice and give the best show possible to our fans. I thought our fans were great. They've been still coming to the games. Last game was awesome atmosphere, and the players gave it back to them with the exciting win. You know, that's what we're hoping to do today is put our best work ethic on the ice to put the best show possible we can against a really, really good team. So it's going to be quite a challenge, but I think something you control is your work ethic, and we're going to do everything to have our best.
I remember last year when things were going really well for you, and I think it was about halfway through the year, you said, our team has a soul. I don't know if you recall saying that, but I'm just wondering now, as you look at this team this year, did you get that same feeling at, like, on the outside it felt like there was a little bit of a, like, it didn't feel like the same atmosphere as last year. Like, did you feel like this year's team B had a soul, so to speak?
Oh, it was a different group. We had different guys. We had guys in and out and injuries and all kinds of stories that you guys know about. So this year was more of a scrambling, tough year to deal with, not just because of the wins and losses, but players in and out and important guys that had tough seasons, and it was different. Every year is different. I mean, every year you're going to have to deal with things, and the teams that end up by the end playing well together, it's because they're able to develop it over the year. And this year was tougher to develop, absolutely. But it doesn't mean we still didn't develop anything. We are developing. If you look at the guy like Duchesne, I mean, he's definitely feeling great now being here and doing his thing. He's been playing terrific for a long, long time now. But if you ask him, I'm sure that the first month here was tough for him to try to figure out how things work. But he was also here during our toughest month of the year, which probably killed us. It's for injury reasons and being on the road so long and so on and so on. But since then, I mean, there's been some really good stories about players having really good years. But as a group, as a team, we need to grow with this different group that we've got, and we've got ways to go. But one thing that's never happened is we haven't had any issues inside. People have tried to make issues inside. They've thought there was issues inside, but we have none. So in that respect, players have been very professional. It's either with players with staff, and so on. In that sense, it's been a very clean year. What's been tough, it's with injuries and some personal stories to players that you guys know and some that you don't know about. Those were harder issues for us to deal with. But really, between people, chemistry, and all that, even Duchesne coming in, he says this is as clean of a group as I've seen. So in that respect, it's we haven't had any of those issues, and that's something to build on for next year, absolutely. But there are new players now. There are players that are going to stay, some are not, and some new players are going to be coming in next year, and you have to start back at zero. It doesn't matter what it was the previous year. You have new guys, you have new chemistry, and it doesn't matter if it's three new guys is new chemistry, and you have to build it all back up. And we're going to have some younger guys like we have right now. And so, whether it's Wolanin coming in, or whether it's Shabbat becoming a legitimate NHL player, a consistent guy getting his role and all, the minute you switch roles, the minute you switch players, you have totally different chemistry, and that's something you have to build from scratch. So next year, we start back at zero with whoever we're going to get, and we'll build it back up again.
Key part of that process that you're just talking about, new guys coming in, and in a situation where the Ottawa Senators are, might be retooling, might be, now you're looking more at maybe getting the first pick overall. Is the coach involved in the decisions for the oncoming seasons? In other words, the evaluation of the players that are coming in right now, the scouts meeting with the GM, are you informed about that? Are you part of those discussions?
Well, right now, they're letting me coach. That's my job. That's what I. Once the year's over, well, yeah. I mean, during the year, my job is to give the most information possible to Pierre and his staff, and in return I get information, and then once the year is over, then it becomes a planning for the year after, and then at that point it has to be a sharing of information as a group and as a team, and that's what we did last year, and that's what we're going to do again this year. We've already started to talk about the guys that are here now, where we project them to be, whether it's young Wolanins and guys like that, how good is Shabbat going to be next year, what do we project, where the guys fit, where our needs are. That's definitely something that's an ongoing process that everybody's involved in, really. My whole staff, we talk about it, Pierre, his staff, and then obviously it's so no, it's been we have the one thing that has never changed is it's been a real good team group dynamics in terms of sharing information, but at the same time letting everybody do their jobs. Pierre is the GM, I'm the coach, and there's great relationship between the two. But in the end, he has to make decisions as a GM, and I have to make decisions as a coach. In that respect, there's a common respect there. That's really fun to work with, because that's how it's been since day one, and so I don't see any reason why it's going to change in the next day or two.